This morning you got into a machine and moved faster than any animal alive. You didn't think about it, but 100,000 years ago that same distance would have taken 2 full days. No road, no path, just open ground that could kill you and your bare feet as the only technology you had. For almost the entire history of our species, getting anywhere meant risking everything. And somehow, on nothing but 2 legs, we covered the entire planet. Humans are not fast. A cheetah hits 70 miles an hour. A horse sustains 30 for miles. You top out at 15 for about 4 seconds. Speed was never the point. What humans can do, what no other animal on Earth can do, is go forever. Walk 20 miles today. Sleep. Walk 20 miles tomorrow. Your feet have arches that act as springs. 2 million sweat glands keep you cool while every other animal on the same terrain overheats and stops. You are not built to be fast. You are built to never stop. 70,000 years ago, small groups of humans began walking out of Africa. Not in one march. Thousands of years. Generation by generation. They crossed the Middle East, spread across Asia, reached Europe, pushed into Siberia, crossed into Alaska and kept moving south through the Americas. Roughly 15,000 miles. On foot. Without knowing the destination existed. And they were not wandering. Archaeologists found obsidian tools hundreds of miles from the nearest volcanic source. Shells deep inland. Amber traded across mountain ranges. This was not wandering. This was networking. On foot. But walking has one enemy. Water. You can cross a desert. You can cross a mountain. But a river stops you. And rivers were everywhere. For hundreds of thousands of years a body of water was simply a wall. Then humans did something no other land animal has ever done. They figured out how to cross water on purpose. Archaeologists on the island of Flores in Indonesia found stone tools dating back 800,000 years. Flores has never been connected to the mainland. There was always at least 12 miles of open ocean between that island and the nearest land. Which means one thing. Someone crossed it. Then 65,000 years ago humans crossed from Southeast Asia to Australia. At least 60 miles of open ocean. You cannot see Australia from the other side. You cannot drift there by accident. Someone built something that could float, pointed it toward open water with no visible end, and paddled into nothing. They left solid ground with no idea if anything existed on the other side. And they went anyway. But there was still a problem nobody had solved. You can walk 20 miles. You cannot walk 20 miles carrying a 200-pound animal you just killed. The real limit was not distance. It was weight. So humans started cheating. First dragging kills on animal hides. Then the Travois, 2 poles tied together with a platform between them. One person could suddenly move 100 pounds or more. But the real revolution was not something you could build. It was something you could befriend. 15,000 years ago humans domesticated dogs. In the Arctic a team of 6 dogs could haul an entire family's camp across terrain no wheel could touch. But dogs are small. We needed something bigger. 5,500 years ago on the steppes of Kazakhstan humans figured out the horse. And the horse changed everything. For 300,000 years the fastest a human could travel was 4 miles an hour. Walking speed. On a horse you hit 30. In a single generation the human world shrank dramatically. Distances that took weeks took days. And here is the part that should surprise you. Humans crossed every ocean on Earth before anyone invented the wheel. The oldest wheel ever found is 5,200 years old. Boats go back at least 10,000 years. Humans sailed to Australia 65,000 years before that wheel existed. The wheel was not the beginning of transportation. It was nearly the last invention in the sequence. The first wheels were not even for transport. They were pottery wheels spinning discs to shape clay. Someone turned that disc on its side and the rest is history. The spoked wheel arrived around 2000 BC. Lighter. Stronger. Faster. Now you had chariots. Then roads. Then horses, wheels and roads all working together. Trade exploded. Empires became possible. Every civilization you have ever heard of was built on that combination. So here is the full picture. For 300,000 years humans had nothing but their legs and walked across the entire planet. They hit water and figured out how to float. They tamed the horse and the world shrank overnight. They invented the wheel and it shrank again. Now you sit in a metal box at 70 miles an hour and call it a commute. You cross an ocean in 6 hours and complain the Wi-Fi is slow. Your ancestors walked barefoot across continents they had no name for toward places they had never seen because staying still meant dying. We solved the problem of distance so completely that we forgot it was ever a problem. All of it exists because 300,000 years ago someone stood at the edge of everything they knew, looked at the horizon and started walking. They had no idea where they were going. They went anyway.